Mm. Yeah. Good afternoon and welcome to the digital festival, Digitalisation of Culture from the Goethe-Institut Namibia. In this session, we're talking about virtually yours and Afrolit, both festivals together with our guest, Sukiswa Wana. Welcome, Sukiswa. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Detlef. How are you?
I'm fine and very excited. What are you going to tell us? There are a lot of things I don't know.
All right,
So,
fantastic. I'm gonna start with a brief history, which will lead us to everything else, and hopefully, everyone can get to know where we are and where we came from. So, last year, at a week after the lockdowns, our lockdown was announced on the 16th of March, and a week after that, not a week after that, but a few days after that, I was chatting with a very good friend of mine, Nigerian writer, Abubakar Adam Ibrahim. And we talked about the possibility of having a virtual literary festival. That same day, I then started communicating with a bunch of writers on the continent. And it was really just to keep us from being despondent. And by the end of the day, I had 16 writers who had agreed to be part of what I then decided to call Afrolit Frontiers. We had writers from countries all over the continent. As you can see from here, we had Richard Ali Mutu from DR Congo, Bisa Japong from Ghana, Leia Denle, whose book is right there, from Nigeria, Maza Mengiste from Ethiopia, Remin Gamije from, who you know, Detlef, from Namibia, Hawa
I think
Janegolakai
so.
from Liberia, Chika Frankie Adozian from Nigeria, Yara Monteiro from Angola, Kalafe Palanga also from Angola, Mohale Mashiho from South Africa, Mukoma Ongugi from South Africa, and Nozizwe Cynthia Jele from South Africa, and myself. Now, the point of the festival was, oh yes, of course, we have more. We've got Shadrach Chikoti from Malawi, Natasha Mokorion Banda from Zambia, Abubakar Adam Ibrahim from Nigeria, and myself. The point of the festival really was we're trying to have a beautiful, amusing moment at a time when we're all despondent and we didn't know what was going on. If you all recall at that time, most countries were on shutdown. I remember that whenever we went to buy groceries, we'd come back and we'd put everything in Dettol and cleanse everything and wash ourselves and take off our clothes immediately from outside and use the outside shower because we're so afraid of catching corona. And being that, we're also very worried about, I was also worried about mental health issues because a lot of us were suffering from cabin fever. So this came then as a way to amuse ourselves during that very difficult time. And a lot of amusement was had. We initially started it as only 8 days, but somehow it ended up being more. And with it being more, we had a lot of laughter. We had a lot of camaraderie. The first 16 formed a group, and up until to this day, the group exists. It's called the Green Room because we're thinking, let's imitate a real literary festival and have a green room. We had 3 languages represented: English, French, and Portuguese. And looking, because it was also probably the first time I have participated and initiated something that had something from the 3 major colonial language groups in Africa. That said, not long after, we started getting quite a bit of media buzz from our work. And you will see here, when we decided to do the second one, we when we decided to do the second one, we made it to the New York Times. Maza and I co-curated that. We made it to CGTN, Litnet, that's the Chinese television station, Litnet in South Africa, Mail and Guardian. We made it to Le Ponte, Goethe-Institut, Belgium, covered it. The Standard in Kenya, Wiriko, The Star, and I do know that we're Paragrapho in, I think that's in Angola, and I do know that we also managed to get some Nigerian as well, but for some reason we didn't put it in here, I don't know why. So yes, we just had a lovely, beautiful time, and I remember people like TJ coming through, which was nice, and sharing the jokes, and there were now like jokes that we shared together as a group, and everybody would make fun of the writers, because we really just wanted it to be lighthearted and people not to be depressed. But amidst all this, we also then had some serious things happening to us. And one of the first serious things that happened was, as we sat in the house and we're then able to watch things that we wouldn't normally have seen, we experienced, we saw George Floyd being killed, and he was killed on 25 May on Africa Day, which was the first, the day of our first, our third season 3 of Afrolit Frontiers. And because of that, we felt that we had to put a statement in solidarity. And the statement, of course, can be found on our website at afrolitsansfrontiers.com under statements. In giving this solidarity statement, we were also saying that we are learning, and we have learned from our forefathers and foremothers, people like Wole Soyinka, people like Amat Haidu, who have always spoken up against any injustice when they see it and when it happens. So yes, this is the statement. Yeah. Statement from African authors in solidarity with Afrolit Frontiers, with Black Lives Matter. And it started as African writers without borders who are connected beyond geography with those, let me share screen of that, share. As African writers without borders who are connected beyond geography with those who live in the United States of America and other parts of the African diaspora, we state that we condemn the acts of violence on Black people in the United States of America. We note in dismay that what Malcolm X said in Ghana in 1964, that for the 20 million of us in America who are of African descent, it's not an American dream, it's an American nightmare, remains true for 37 million in 2020. And in so doing, in the letter, which those of you might see when you go to the website, you will also see that we shared our solidarity too with violence against Black bodies in Brazil. Thereafter, Afrolit kind of had a different energy. And the different energy it had is we decided that we're going to add our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. So we had writers from Brazil, we had writers from Martinique, we had writers from the United States of America, we had Black British writers, we had writers from France. And yes, it was absolutely a beautiful festival. Fast forward to the end to October, and Detlef gets in touch, and Detlef says, can we do a literary festival? And can we do something virtually? And I said, yeah, that's a great idea. But before we did something virtually, we had something that we called, and this was our last Afrolit Sans Frontiers, African languages. And with this, we had 8 African languages. We had 8 African languages from 8 countries with 16 writers. And again, it took the same format. but those languages were done in the African languages. And one of the most gratifying things to experience was we got funding, so we could then pay the writers. I have to say, these were the only writers that were actually paid for Afrolit Frontiers. These, and of course, the moderators who were younger writers, because we wanted to highlight that writing is work and you can get paid for it. And that was Afrolit Frontiers. And then, of course, we started Virtually Yours. Virtually Yours kicked off with Ning Songo, and we would later have other writers as we went on. Our second, I'm just going to share the second writer that we had, and that was, and the reason I'm sharing this really is because it was outdoors, and you know, and it was an outdoors discussion, but here we are. And
so Kisra, I think you did not share the screen.
I need to share the screen, yes.
Yeah, and don't forget to tick the sound.
So let me do the sound as well.
You must stop sharing and then reshare.
Stop
by
sharing.
Clicking. So if you share before you click, there are two boxes at the bottom.
Oh, optimize share sound.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Finally.
A girl's a swimming pool, but yeah.
Okay, so let me start again. That's me and Jennifer Makumbi.
In Nairobi,
that was our second.
In Kampala, all over the world where you are. Welcome to Virtually Yours, the second installment. And we are here with Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi, the author of Chintu, the author of Manchester Happened, and the author of the most very beautiful recent novel, The First Woman. Jennifer, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Zahiswa, and thank you, Detlef, for making this happen.
Jen, remember Pleasure. How I'm going to ask you, maybe before we get into all this, I'm going to ask you to start by doing a little reading. Okay. And I can get into all my excitement about The First Woman, which is called in the US, a woman is it a girl is a body? A girl is a swimming pool.
You know, so a woman is a swimming pool. Something. It's a girl is a body of water. It's not a lady.
Right. But I tend to part of what we do, what I've done with Virtually Yours, I wanted to keep the spirit of Afrolit Frontiers, which is not to take myself too seriously, but also to show that the books can be fun and relatable, and they're really just stories, because I think too often on this continent, people have been intimidated by literature because the belief is, well, you know, I think in a lot of African countries, you will find that there is a version of, if you read too much, you'll go mad. And I wanted to highlight that, well, suppose you do get mad, it's a good madness. So that was Virtually Yours. And in this month, on the 13th of November, we will be having our 12th Detlef, yes? We will, yeah.
Like the usual, the second Saturday per month is
exactly
the 13th. The 13th, we will have our original, the Virtually Yours.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We'd have clocked a year. And these are some of the books that we've had. We've had Remy, It's in Our Audience of One. We've had Little Family by Ishmael Bear. We've, of course, had Goethe shortlisted writer, Nadifa Mohammed. who unfortunately didn't win yesterday, but we're very happy that she made it to the list, and it was another African who won. So that has been very exciting for all of us to be
You're
part of.
talking about the Booker Prize.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Damon Galgut was the winner, which was very exciting because I've always enjoyed Galgut's writing, and he was, yeah, and him, you know, we all had our fingers crossed for Galgut and Nadifa, and you know, one of the people that we hoped would win won, you know,
I think
and yeah, and coming up,
Nadifa was
then
our last guest.
yes, she was our last
Yes,
guest.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, I bring the good guests.
Yes, that's you.
But coming up from the 11th, then we have decided that, you know, we want to do something with our friends in Germany. And so Zoe Beck, who is a writer, was a good friend of mine and a writer I admire immensely, and I are co-curating. I was very glad she said yes. We're co-curating a Virtually Yours Literary Festival, which will be our first literary festival. In the festival, we are going to have, amongst others, from our side, we're going to have Mukoma Ongugi, we're going to have Maza Mingiste, we're going to have Angela Makolwa, we're going to have Beata Umbei Marei. So it should be a very fascinating and beautiful discussion. So make sure, and we are aware that people are working, but we're also keeping very much the energy and the feel of Afrolit Frontiers with time. So it's going to be at 6 GMT, and 6 GMT is, of course, 7 West African time. It's 8 Southern African time. So if you're in Namibia, if you're in South Africa, if you're in Zimbabwe, that's at 8 p.m. And it's going to be 9 p.m. East African time. And what we'll be doing, what's unique about this particular festival, in addition to having an African and a German writer, is that we're going to have all sessions will be in English and French. So do not hesitate not to turn up because perhaps you don't speak English, but you speak French, you will be catered for. And if you speak French and you don't speak English, you will also be catered for. So every one of the sessions, and it's going to be 4 sessions. The first one will be at 6 GMT on the 11th. That's a Thursday. The second one will be on 6 GMT on Friday. The third will be at 6 GMT on Saturday. But a few hours before that, we are obviously going to have our usual Virtually Yours session. And that's the only one where we'll give away the books. And on that one, we are going to have Nozizwe Cynthia Jelle from South Africa. And we'll be talking about her book, The Ones with a Purpose. Beautifully written, takes space over a week. And yes, so, and then on Thursday, so on Sunday, we end with Beata, and the conversation will be in French, but obviously, as I mentioned, it will be translated into English. Detlef, any questions? Anything you need enlightenment on?
Yes, first of all, I wanted to add a little bit about how we came to Virtually Yours.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Remy did the connection, by the way.
Exactly.
Despite the fact that you and I had done emails back and forth, but Remy did the connection.
Yeah, but it started before because I was also in lockdown as from March. I got stuck in Europe while I was there for a sports event when the airport was closed. So I spent also, like a lot of people, a bit time on the internet looking for some cultural events. And I saw an event from the Goethe-Institut in Chile, in Santiago. They had a virtual discussion with German authors, like Ingo Schulze, for example. so I was following some of the events, and I liked it very much, the atmosphere, and yeah, to change from the normal TV and get inspired by a little bit of culture. And then I thought, yeah, that's something I also could imagine to do or to initialize. But I didn't want just to copy it. I thought, so what is then, if we have got a discussion on literature, I thought, what do we need or what do we want in Namibia or in Africa?
Mm.
Of course, we have also discussion with German authors, but we didn't have a platform in English for African contemporary literature, not in Namibia. So I contacted Remy and asked him if he want to do something with me. And then he said, no, he doesn't have enough time, but, and there here you come in, I can recommend you Suki Swawana. And I think we met, if I remember again, we met or we agreed to do virtually yours just a day before or 2 days before you got your Goethe medal, isn't it?
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I believe so. It was.
Yeah, it was the day before. Yeah, yeah. And I was very lucky
Yes,
to
I
get hold
believe
of
so.
you because I can imagine you were excited at this time. Yeah.
Do you know, I wasn't that excited anymore. Do you know why? Because I was told about it in I got to know about it in November of 2019.
Okay.
You know? So
Okay.
I knew about it. And
Wow.
then, but of course, nothing could be said up until I think around April. Then the Goethe-Institut let out a public statement. And then it was like, so I knew it, but then it was like, oh, we're supposed to go to Weimar for the ceremony. And of course, there was no more the ceremony. So
Yeah.
I had done all these interviews so that because it was going to be televised. So I did all the interviews in advance. So now it was like delayed stuff that everybody was seeing, and I'd already done interviews. So now I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay, but now I can just share with everybody else that this has happened.
Okay. Okay. So it was when we got in contact first, it was the day before your medal, and we launched virtually yours, but that was only by accident on my birthday.
On your
as well.
birthday,
Yes,
yes.
it was the first virtually yours was on my birthday. So that we're celebrating virtually yours and myself. We're celebrating birthday together with you.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and the 11th one happened a day before your birthday.
Yeah, that's a year after. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also wanted to share with you our webpage. Let me just share. So if you are interested in to see what happens so far, I must be honest, it's not yet updated 100%, but if you go on the goethe.de/Namibia, and you can see under culture, you will see here the project virtually yours. And there you can see, like I said, it's not updated yet. There were too much work for the festival, for the conference. There you can see most of the sessions which you started from number
so I think
one with
we have
Nick Molongo,
pretty
sorry.
much, I think we have pretty much all the sessions except one. And I found that very heartbreaking that we didn't have it. The Namibian one, you know?
Me too.
I'm
very heartbroken as well, because my colleague from Ghana had some technical problems, and the record, so we must redo it maybe. Yeah,
I think so.
was not done. Yeah.
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 But here's the thing that everybody doesn't know about Virtually Yours, if this is the first time that you are in the audience and hearing about it. So what we firstly, initially it was with Goethe-Institut Namibia, and Detlef wonderfully managed to sell it to the rest of Goethe Sub-Saharan Africa. So they many different countries have co-hosted in different ways.
Mm.
But what's beautiful about this particular thing is the festival always begins with music. You know,
Yes.
it begins with a very short, what you call it, of music to introduce. And I love that in that way, we kind of, you know, at least for the first few sessions when we were dealing with Goethe-Institut Namibia only as host, we got to know a lot about Namibian music, and I really appreciated that. And I think when other countries have hosted, you know, when Nairobi has hosted, for instance, everybody got to know, you know, I think they played Sauti Sol or some, you know, so it's really been beautiful to have that.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
it's an important part of the people.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the brandings of virtually yours, to have music from the host country at the beginning and at the end. And it doesn't finish just with like, okay, bye bye, so you can relax and also think about what was being told and how did you, what was your reaction, but just laying down and listen some music and ended up in a nice atmosphere. Yeah.
And the other very key thing about all the Virtually Yours festivals is we do a book giveaway at the end. So you don't
Yes.
leave empty-handed if you're a
Yes.
lucky person.
Yes. But only 2 people, they are online.
Exactly. So you need to
Yeah.
be with us and be able to engage with our conversation.
Mhm.
And then you, at the end, we usually pick, and we have given away, how many have we had now? We've had 11. So we've given away
Yeah.
55 books,
Wow.
5 every session. Yeah, we've given away
That's
55 books.
that's a lot, eh? Yeah.
It is.
And at the end, I said we're also giving 1 book away. Let me just up. It's here around. Now I'm blurry. You can't see it. Maybe must I put it in front of my face? It's
I can kind of see it, but
the best new African poets 2020 anthology. It's
okay, so
about,
tell us who's in there.
it's about, there are about, yeah, 450 rand, the value of the book. And we had it already, the 2018 and 2019, we had already. There are a lot. I can't name all of them. The only one, because it's 5 pages of authors in Portuguese poetry, in English poetry, in literal poetry, in French poetry, and German is not in, but there is one poet, Prince K, from Namibia, that I know.
Okay.
And yeah, there are so many authors, poets. So that giveaway, and that is, it came out about not 3 months ago, something like that. So
So how does
it's a new
one win this book, Detlef?
Now, yeah, we will draw. We will draw
Okay,
later.
do I
but
qualify?
do you want to qualify? Yes.
Nah, it will seem like we're rigging.
Yeah. So
it will seem like we're rigging.
I quickly,
Let me disqualify myself.
I wanted to come back to the Virtually Yours, because you said we have some other hosts apart from Namibia. Actually, this year it was a trial, and also to involve my colleagues, to see what to do, how to do. Some of them, they've never had a Zoom meeting. It was not with the colleagues. So it's quite also, how can I say, a way to learn from my colleagues how to deal with an international conference or international meeting. And all of them, they enjoyed it, I must say.
Oh, that's
And
lovely.
yeah, and so we applied to that virtually becomes official regional project from the Goethe-Institut Sub-Sahara, and we got it. That means
Oh,
we have a bit more funds. We have a bit more funds this year, and my director is just coming in. I'm just live with Suki Swawana and virtually yours. Yeah, come, just say hi.
hello, how are you? Very well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just interrupting them. Yeah. Sorry for that. I don't want to interrupt too much. Okay, so we will have it officially as a regional project next year with a bit more money, and we can translate it in also in French. So it will be every time it will be translated. It will be English, French. So that's
that would be
good news.
amazing.
And that's from next year.
I'm so
February.
happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Now I need to be able to read French properly so that I can have authors in French.
Yeah. But Afrolit was French as well, isn't it?
It was in French, it was in Portuguese, and it was in English.
Okay. Yeah, that's what because at first I saw the French version, the French part. Yeah. No?
Yeah, it was in French and Portuguese and English. Even our statements, we all the statements that we had on social justice were all in French and English and Portuguese. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So should we maybe open the floor for a Q&A session?
Absolutely. Any questions?
So I also can give you the right to speak. Just let me know. I've got some clapping hands here.
We thank the clapping hands.
Yeah.
And we notice some of the clapping hands are people who win all the time.
Yes, we have some, they won three times or more, né? The books, I mean. Yeah. And I know there's also Helen well from Namibia. I see DJ from Nigeria. Rueko is from, where are you from, Rueko? I know you were quite often on virtually yours. I don't know if he has got, I just give him the right to talk.
Us.
Yeah. Okay. Teacher, you were also from Zimbabwe, but based in the UK. Yeah. TJ, I know you were also several times on virtually yours. How did you enjoy?
I never win anything.
No, but you know what happened, TJ? The times that you were absent is when I always drew your name. I don't know. It's like you've got a lot of bad luck. Like, firstly, you're Nigerian, then you lose books.
Child, like too much.
Chalet, what is that?
I don't know. It goes to generally, I have bad luck generally. My village people. But what I was trying to phrase as a question, I don't think it's a question. It's more of like an observation or a curiosity, because the speed with which you were able to adapt these online festivals or these programs from last year to this year, it's something that I couldn't have. I know many people couldn't have predicted, like being able to enjoy festivals in this form, and also we are so attached to sitting in physical spaces. So my curiosity is, and also I know that with physical festivals, there are multiple events that you have to choose which you want to attend, whatever. So, but I'm curious. There's going to be another festival this year, yes? It's Afrolit Frontiers. Yes.
No. Afrolit Frontiers. I like the idea of things organically moving. So there isn't going to be an Afrolit Frontiers, but we do have a virtually yours festival.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So this format, it's so my comment first. It's very. I mean, then it's you. You're a fun person.
Thank you, TJ.
It's not it's not boring, but I got some of the authors that have been here are authors whom I have experienced their work and also experienced them on panels, but it felt very different. The kind of questions you ask and the structure of it and how we are all able to come in the comment sections and chat. But so yeah, I really like this medium. I'm interested to see how. So I don't know. My question or my curiosity for you would be, what do you see as the future of festivals, especially in the digital space, or not just festivals necessarily, but literary gatherings is what I would call it, I think. How do you think,
You
like,
know,
over the coming period, we're going to, in terms of even sustainability, are you talking about how things can move organically from one form to an even larger? So, what do you think?
I actually last 2 weeks ago, as you know, I was at Pegea in Ghana, and that festival was, I was there, in person, and people like Lola were there in person, and Abubakar was there in person, and Frankie was there in person, and Bisi and Leye and so forth. But there were also people that were connecting with us virtually. And so I kind of get the feeling that the future of festivals is going to be a combination of both, which personally I would really appreciate, because I don't like the idea sometimes of, particularly if I'm leaving the continent. I love traveling the continent, as you know. So if you're asking me to come to Lagos, or to come to Abuja, or to, I'll be there like tomorrow, but I hate the idea of having to leave the continent and being on a flight for 12 hours just so that I can talk on a panel for like 30 minutes or an hour. So personally, and I know that a lot of people will feel the same way that I do, I would want a combination of that. And I also think that in this way, we can't have excuses then for not paying writers, because if you are only using data, to have like Zoom meetings, and either whether it's Zoom or StreamYard or whatever streaming platform you're using, then you can't have any excuse not to pay writers, because you're not buying their flight tickets anymore, So I personally am very much for a combination of both. And where people are close by, I think close by and are available, I think they should be able to. Countries like the United Kingdom, for me, it's not a country that I like going to. And the reason I don't like going to, sorry, Rujeko, the reason I don't like going there is because the visa process with an African passport, and I have one of the better ones, the South African passport is quite many advantages, but the visa process is just, it's not nice. So I have told a lot of my English friends, when they want to do things with me, listen, I can do this online. I can even be a guest lecturer online, but I'm not getting on a plane. I'm not dealing with your immigration issues when a lot of you just come to our countries, without having to go through the crazy rigorous visa processes that we need to do to come to yours, And it's cold in England, by the way.
I mean, like,
Yes,
everybody's complaining of the weather now in England, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to bad weather, and then I must go through a rigorous visa process. Like, you should be excited that I even want to come. You know what I mean? Because that's weather. Hey, guys, no.
We have a question in the Q&A block here from Helen. Have you thought of inviting Abdul Gunas from Zanzibar? Is this from Zanzibar or from Zanzibari? I'm not quite sure. The African winner of the
Yes, the Nobel winner.
Yeah.
You see,
to come to share his insights.
Listen, this my father now is too important for us small minions. I probably could have invited him three months ago, Now I know that he's probably hectic, and I think Abdul Razak Guna, and I think you know, as a writer myself, there is a level of understanding that we need to give to each other, because you know that he's inundated with things. It's how like you know, he's inundated with stuff. People are inviting him there, they're calling him over there, and he's not a young man, you know. And so I think if he indicated obviously that he'd want to be on Virtually Yours, I'd be like, yes, please, you know. But I'm not really the person who's going to harass him to be on Virtually Yours, because I know that he's there. But in any case, I think part of what Virtually Yours does is pretty much the same thing that what Afrolit Frontiers did. And it's to introduce people to writers that they should know, but they don't necessarily know. And I don't think Abdul Razak Guna has a problem there, because he won the Nobel. Everybody knows who he is now, you know. And certainly here in Nairobi, Helen, the books have sold out left, right, and center, and everybody is ordering and waiting for the next orders. Yes, Rujeko.
Yes, Sakiswa, hello and hi, Detlef and everybody on the
Hello.
platform. I just want to say, really, I think for me, I just want to say thank you to you guys, because this is what Virtually Yours has done for me, really. Introduced me to writers, either writers I was not aware of, or writers that I was not, maybe even the latest writings. You probably know about some of the work that some of the writers have done, but it's work that was done, you know, a while back. It's just been helpful to help us to get to know what is current, what's happening, and the opportunity to actually listen in, you know, and hear these writers speaking. And I mean, like you said, Sukiswa, I think it's nice to have a mix of the two, where you could meet in person and also online. But the mix of the two, it's not always feasible for many people. So I think I've been in UK since the whole time I've been here. I've been able to sit in on all the Virtually Yours sessions, except for the first one, I think, with Nick Mhlongo. So I've really appreciated this platform and really excited about what's taking place. Really happy to hear also about the journey, you know, how you guys have walked and come to this stage and what's lying ahead. And well done. We're cheering you on all the way.
Thank you. And there are a lot more exciting writers coming up.
Yes, really looking
next...
forward to the festival. Yeah.
Just the next question. How did you pick authors for Virtually Yours?
Okay, so it's biased as anything that's bound to happen is gonna be, and the bias really is I pick books that I think people would like to read, that I think, you know, the type of books I'd love to share. So think of it as a platform where you are my intimate friend and I'm like, oh my God, you should read this, because that is actually what I do with books that I've really enjoyed. And so this is my monthly, oh my God, you should read this. This is, and obviously then because of the formats that I put it in, where I ask the writer to read a little something and then I ask questions, you kind of get a gist of what the book might be about and whether that interests you. And, you know, and generally there have been books that I have enjoyed that I've found that people have enjoyed. And so, yeah, absolutely. That's really how the selection happens. And of course, the other thing though is I don't, you know, there's some writers who are very outgoing and there's some who are very shy, but I always try to find a way of drawing them into conversation. And I think that's important because people assume that writers are boring because they write alone, but I think they're the most interesting people, and they're funny and they're crazy, and they remember things, including grudges. But but yeah, so I like to be able to pull that in people and get people to realize this side of laughing writers, of craziness, of, oh, okay, they're not that serious after all, because really that's what it should be. Literature is art, and art should be enjoyable as much as it maybe teaches us something or makes us question about stuff. Most of all, it should be enjoyable, well crafted, beautiful.
Yeah, that was, I think, the last question in the Q&A session. So let us quickly have a look at what's coming up next. You mentioned it already, but let's get a little bit more in details so that you know when do you have to join in. The next one is the Virtually Yours Festival, which
Yes.
starts, let me just share the advert again, that starts on the 11th.
11th, and it starts on the 11th with Imran. Imran and Mkoma Wangugi, and they will be talking music. Let me actually give you all the panelists and who their moderators will be. I have the information here.
The official program is coming out tomorrow or even today.
Yes, I believe so. Okay, so music panel, we have Imran and we have Mkoma. That's on Thursday. And the next panel is a historical panel, which has Maza Mengiste from Ethiopia and Sharon Dodo Oto from Germany and Ghana. And they will be talking history. I think Sharon has won some award in, Sharon has won some award, yes. So the next one is called Unforgotten Her Stories, and it focuses on women in history, as written in fiction, obviously. And then we have Saturday the 13th, we have our normal panel at 13 GMT with Nozizo Jele. Happiness is a 4-letter word. Okay, she not only won the Commonwealth Writers' Prize for best first book for her novel, Happiness is a 4-letter word, but she also, it also is a movie, and it's being adapted on the 9th. You're going to be able to see it on Netflix, the follow-up of it, which is Happiness 2 or something. And
but
then
are we talking about her
no,
new
but
book?
we're talking about the Ones with a Purpose, her second novel, which came out in the last 2-3 years. And then on Saturday in the evening, we're gonna have Angela Makolwa and Melanie Rabe, and they're both crime writers. And the panel is called Crime Pays, and they'll be moderated by Pippa Goldschmidt. And on Sunday, to finish off, we'll have Anne Weber and Beata Umie Marais, Lost or Found in Translation, Medium Kore. Now, here's the beauty. Anne writes in French, and she translates her own books into German, or I think it's German, and she translates into French. Anyway, she is going to be moderated. They are going to be moderated by a child who came from the Zugi Savannah School. His name is Mary Mkore. He's one of the people who was in the Afro Young Adult Anthology, you know. And so, yeah, so that's going to be the festival. And the other moderator from the African side is Remy Nganije from Namibia, and he's going to be moderating Maza Mengiste and Sharon Otu.
Look what my colleague just brought in from our library.
Yes, there you go.
That's we're talking about, ne? Yeah. And another one, a little bit older also, from Melanie Rabe.
Uh,
So
you
you can see
see.
our library is more or less up to date. You see? Yeah. Good. So now,
See, I bring the good people, hey?
that's very, yes, yeah. That's true. There are a lot, you know, a lot of people we had as guests from Virtual Use. I see them later, won this prize shortlist today, and it's really amazing. I'm really honored. Maybe Rieko feels the same, that it's actually a privilege to talk to these people. Then later you see on the newspaper, won this prize and that prize, and oh, I know him. I talked to him in person. Yeah.
If only virtually.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So okay, you see now my coffee pot. That's why I unblurred me to see who will get this book.
Yes. Oh, that looks, now it's very clear.
Yeah, because I unblurred my background. So we haven't got that much. So the people they watching it on the video later, that yeah, that's a pity for them. And the winner is, so I took you out, Sukisani.
That's fine.
And the winner is, can you read?
James.
James Morora.
James, are you there? I think disqualify him. He's not there.
Let's, well, finally,
there
you
he
see
is.
it there. You see, Sukisa wanted you disqualified. So I think I've got your email, and then I will send you the anthology 2020. Okay.
Detlef, it's been a pleasure as always. Are we going to do like a proper Virtually Yours, and you're going to play some music before we go, or?
Actually, it was not on my planning because we are a part of the digital conference, and I end the conference always with a preview what's coming next.
Okay, fantastic. So what's coming next?
So, and we have today, we have another session at 6 o'clock Namibian time. So in about 2 hours. With the title Developing Technology to Strengthen Resilience in Sun Children. That's a project from the University of Namibia. They created some digital contents to help the Sun people in primary schools to learn, to support learning.
Oh, wow, that's really nice. That's noble.
Yeah. I'm also excited to see what it is actually. Yeah. Good.
I'll probably try and pop in as well. Are we using the same link if we decide to pop in?
No. To follow the other program, you go to the website of Goethe.de/Namibia, and like I showed before, on our website, maybe I can quickly share it on our website, or there are some chats as well. Let me just quickly share. So you go to culture, and then you see digitalization of culture. Okay. Or you go to events. Sorry, it's even easier to go events, and then you will see on day 5 the program of today. It's Virtually Yours, and here is the next event, and you register there on Zoom. And tomorrow we finish the conference with 3 other events, the hackathon. Sorry, now I'm too fast. With the hackathon, our coding week we had, and yeah, this is wrong here. The hackathon, and then this is wrong. You see, my colleague said there is a mistake. which is actually Preserve Namibia, Indigenous Knowledge. That's tomorrow. And then the closing ceremony. And that's it. And so we had 6 days, we will have 6 days of digital culture from Namibia.
Fantastic. We'll look forward to it. Where I can't see certain things, I hope I'll be able to catch some of them, and I hope the rest of you will go to guta.de.nam and see what's coming on. And Detlef, I hope I'll see you in a few weeks. I should be in Namibia.
That's correct. We invited you to
No,
our...
not for that. This is just me coming on holiday.
Okay. Oh no, that's even better. Okay, then I will see us. Okay. So thank you very much for you, Sikiswa, for showing us what about talking a little bit about the background of these platforms. And of course, thank you very much also for the people that joined us, for our visitors. And yeah, maybe see us for the next event. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you very
Bye.
much, Detlef. I
Bye.
was glad to be part of this.
Great.